He went from Policeman of the Year in 2009 to resigning after pulling a gun on a teenage pool party. Texas officer Eric Casebolt was caught on camera in that incident, seen pushing a bikini-clad teenager to the ground. He's then said to have drawn the gun on two black men who were approaching, apparently wanting to help her. But for more on this, we can cross now to Philip Crowther in Washington. Philip, we saw there teenagers wearing swimwear at the party. Clearly not a major risk to the police officer. Any more explanations being offered as to why he went so heavy-handedly?
No great explanation either from himself or from his very own police department. Indeed, any charges that there might have been dropped. In other words, there wasn't much of a reason for him to be this brutal. We've heard from his very own McKinney Police Department since then. His police chief, at the same time as he accepted his resignation, said that the actions of Eric Casebolt, the police officer seen in the video, were, quote, indefensible. At the same time, that police chief of the local police department said that he had 12 police officers on the scene, some of whom you can see in that video in the background. They are more or less in the same area. He says 11 out of the 12 police officers did an excellent job. It was just the one who got things completely and totally wrong. And when you look at that there were 11 police officers there as well, they didn't really stop Eric Casebolt from doing what he did. He appears to be pretty much out of control. And when you see how that teenage girl is pinned to the ground and how he pulls that gun on other teenagers, well, it appears that pretty much everybody is so shocked and too scared also to intervene. And when you see the teenagers running away from the drawn gun, well, that is a clear sign of how easily they believe that a shot could have been fired in this case.
Now, Philip, it's once again the case of a white police officer coming down very heavily on black people. It's the latest in a long line of racially charged incidents. I mean, are we right to put it in the same category as what we've seen lately?
Yeah, pretty much. It appears to be the case. Eric Casebolt, the police officer, was at the centre of another civil rights investigation in 2007. He was accused of racial profiling at the time. That lawsuit was dropped in the end. But when you look at it, well, these are white police officers, all, of course, armed, going after, again, unarmed black teenagers and doing so more brutally than ever was needed. That is why, in this case as well, there are accusations not only from the teenagers in the video, but also from bystanders and from analysts outside, of course, that this is, again, a case of racism. And that, of course, puts that in that long line, not only of incidents, but also of videos of police brutality. You know them by now: Ferguson, New York, Cleveland, and Baltimore. The police department in Ferguson was, of course, the center of a report by the Department of Justice. It said that there was racial discrimination on behalf of the Ferguson Police Department. Now, in that context, one of the reactions has been, on behalf of the administration, to put body cameras on police officers. Now, you've got to ask yourself, would that have changed anything? Because, of course, this incident was filmed in the end. And another question that arises is this one: how many more incidents like this one of potentially racial police brutality, of racism on behalf of police departments? How many more examples of this might there be throughout the United States that are not filmed, and how many might there have been in the past before camera phones even existed? That is why this long line of videos is so important, and that is why that discussion is now being had here in the United States on whether there is racism in a lot of police departments in this country.